everyone, it's Lauren-Blair Donovan, your favorite tragedy girl, talking about death on the internet. Happy Mother's Day, and if you're watching this in the future in June, happy Father's Day. This is kind of a weird video because I'm going to be talking about what it's like to have dead parents on Mother's Day and Father's Day, but I don't think you have to have dead parents to share my sentiments. I think this is kind of like a very special episode because I think we can all learn something from it. For one, not all people with alive parents have great relationships with their parents. Being estranged from your parents is a real phenomenon that happens to, frankly, too many people. And a lot of my grievances about these holidays are, we'll get to this part in a minute, but it really is me just complaining about how people act on social media, which, oh man, I think we all can relate to that, whether we care to admit to that or not. So let's get into it. So my history with Mother's and Father's Day pre my parents dying, I should probably disclose, was not a huge deal in my family. I feel like once we had a Father's Day barbecue and a lot of people came over, not just the immediate family, and then we never did it again. And for Mother's Day, I feel like, I don't know, maybe every 2 or 3 years, my dad would be like, oh, I guess we should take mom out to brunch. I don't think it was even every year, to be honest with you. So yeah, I'm not really sentimental about these holidays. My dad died before I moved out of the house, but my mom has been gone almost 3 years now. So pretty recently. And throughout my adult life, when I moved away from her, don't get me wrong, I made sure to call her and say Happy Mother's Day. I'm a great girl. But past that, it just wasn't something that I feel nostalgic for or I'm necessarily missing out on with these holidays, except it does get really annoying because a lot of people probably realize and yet don't realize that you think about your dead loved ones every day. It doesn't mean that you're crying about them every day. It doesn't even mean that you're thinking about them in the front of your head. It's just that, especially when it's the people who raised you, they're kind of going to be in the back of your head somewhere in there, floating around in some subconscious or completely obvious way. With all holidays, including Hallmark holidays, which I kind of think Hallmark started Mother's or Father's Day. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm just going to assume I'm not. I don't really care enough to look it up, I'm not going to lie. But all holidays or birthdays or anniversaries are always a little bit triggering because you're already going about your day, 365, 366 if it's a leap year, sort of thinking about, your family who's passed on. And then the holidays really bring it home. They really make it undeniable. Every time you see a commercial for, Target or for McDonald's, get your mom some McLovin. That's a character from Superbad. That's not actually a Happy Meal or value meal. Okay, my bad. But you get what I'm saying. Every business wants to be in on these Hallmark holidays. It's an excuse to have sales, which can drive in, sales, people buying stuff. So my email inbox gets flooded with 30% off for moms if you want to get a gift for mom. And I'm like, I don't have one. Thank you, ModCloth, The Gap, Petco, for reminding me that I don't have a mom. Thanks. Great time to be alive. Thank you. So yeah, it's just kind of a real kick in the pants. It's just not a good, you're already, like I said, thinking about it, but it gets real obvious real quick. Any holiday. And frankly, it just gets annoying this time of year for both Mother's and Father's Day, which is not only super back to back, they're 6 weeks apart. My parents coincidentally died the first week of June. So this is my worst time of year besides the actual winter holidays. I'm not a fan leading up to the solstices. What can I say? I don't like it. These times of years don't treat me well. So guys, if you know me in real life, just be nice to me until halfway through June. Please and thanks. This is kind of a misunderstood holiday in a weird way though, because I feel like some of my friends act like or assume or expect or ask me if I'm going to be crying my eyes out on these holidays. And on one hand, it's really sweet because not enough people, even people who genuinely love me, think to look out for me and grief triggers. So thank you if you're one of those people, genuinely. But at the same token, the comedian in me is like, this isn't a real holiday. I'm not actually upset. It's more just difficult to have all this stimuli, whether it's in commercials, in email inboxes, who knows, pigeon carriers. No, that's not a thing. And wherever else people are trying to like advertise brunches and sales and gifts and cards and flowers and all that stuff, it just gets real annoying real fast. And in a non-pandemic world, which we're starting to hopefully kind of sort of, knock on wood, go towards that. I'm fully vaccinated, so I guess I'm kind of in a post-pandemic world, but are any of us? I don't know. I could still spread it maybe according to some science. I don't know, guys. I don't know what's going on. So safe than sorry. But it feels like compared to last year, a lot more brunches and get-togethers and barbecues, whatever it is your mom wants to do, is going to be potentially on, as well as next month, maybe even more so because more people will be vaccinated in time for Father's Day. And I remember pre-moving to Los Angeles, where a lot of us are kind of vagabonds and come from elsewhere, when I was living in Denver, Colorado for pretty much my whole adult life pre-LA, half my friends were transplants and half were Colorado natives. And it was just real weird, whether it was like Mother's or Father's Day, where it's like, hey guys, let's go do something on this Sunday the 10th or Sunday the 18th, whatever. And they'd be like, can't, hanging out with my live family. I mean, they didn't say it, of course, that way, but like that's another jarring thing where it's like, oh, maybe I have nowhere to go and everybody else is hanging out without me with their live families and mine's dead. Great. That's the only time that in real life I feel actually left out, I guess, if you will, because it's like when all your friends are doing stuff that you don't even have the option or nay privilege to do. That kind of sucks. But besides that, it doesn't really dawn on me that it is Mother's or Father's Day until I log on to any social media, and instead of people being funny or posting pet photos, everyone's bragging about their mothers or their fathers. And it's like, look, I'm not a bitter Bertha. If you have a parent that you love, celebrate them. I'm not going to hold that against you. I'm not mad at that. You don't even have to shield that from me, because if I'm actually your friend, I'm actually in your life, and I'm in your life the way your life is. You don't need to alter it for me. But what does kind of drive me crazy is, well, a few things. I think it's hilarious when people post these odes to their parents on social media, and their parents don't even have social media. When it's like, he'll never see this, but my dad's a great guy, and he did X, Y, and Z. Like, then why... Do you really have to share that on your Facebook then if he's not going to see that? Call him and be like, hey dad, you're a great guy. You showed me X, Y, and Z. Like I have a lot of issues with people bragging on the internet, and the older I get and the more into social media we can get into and consume as a culture, the more I have thoughts on it, and I just try not to partake in a lot of it. It just feels like people are talking to hear themselves talk and to have something to say to add to the conversation. And half the time, it's people bragging about their parents when they hate their parents, which I don't know what to do with. Look, family is complicated. It's fine, but it's a little hard for me as an orphan to pull double duty and listen to you vent about your valid problems with your family, but then watch you take the privilege of having them even though you don't appreciate them, even if you have good reasons, but then you're gonna make everyone else feel bad about either their like hard relationships with their family, their strained relationships with their family, the fact that they don't have a family. I don't know what to do with that. I'm even struggling as to like what to say in this that's like both succinct and hopefully funny. something I want to make fun of. But again, I get that family is complicated, but it's a little hypocritical. And you're asking a lot of the people who are going through life with you and kind of know better. You know, you're asking us to partake in your lie on the internet, but you're also making other people feel bad. I'm not saying you should be like, oh, my parents are garbage if you have a bad relationship with them on Mother's and Father's Day. Yeah, you don't have to be like, F you, mom, on Facebook on Mother's Day if you have a bad relationship. You don't have to air dirty laundry either. I just think as a culture, we should get a lot more conscientious about how what we post, yes, it should be about us. Yes, if it makes us feel good, do it. Life is hard. But also, what is our responsibility to other people? What do we owe each other? If we're keeping up a facade or a lie, you're making probably by default other people feel bad about their lives who don't know it's a lie. So I don't know. And the other thing that's like really funny to me and maybe not as heavy is it's always people picking a really adorable photo of themselves when they're 4, before there was like digital technology and you could like check the photos. Mom's blinking in the photo. Or dad's making a derpy face. It's an ode to how cute I was as a 4-year-old. By the way, happy Mother's Day. We see through that. And if your mom's on Facebook, she probably sees through that too. Why do we post on social media? To make ourselves look good. And I don't think trying to like celebrate your parents who gave you life is like a day to make yourself look good. Call me morally upright if you must, but I don't know. Something about that rings real weird to me. Real weird. So yeah, just Mother's and Father's Day, it's just a freaking awkward day, man. It's an awkward day, guys. I don't know what to tell you. You can do whatever you want. I wish I could stop people. I know I can't. I have no power in this world. I've long accepted that. But for me personally, and if you're out there grieving or you're like post-grief like me where it's been a while, but these things are always just a little bit delicate and potentially not fun. Honestly, I don't really check social media. I don't. I kind of have a blackout day because it's just good for you if you really, really, really do love your parents and you're in a really beautiful, productive place with them. I'm genuinely happy for you. Seriously, like no bitter Berthas. It is nice work if you can get it. And if you have it, own it. It's great. I just can't be the one liking those photos because it's not good for my mental health. Like I said, it's low key in the back of my head every day that my parents aren't here. And that's always just like a helicopter circle in my head, even if I'm not completely consciously thinking that way. So there's enough trials in my life independent of my parents passing away at a young age. I don't need to hear about how great y'all are claiming or projecting, because it's not really true, that your parents are. I don't need to compare myself to you guys, so I will not be checking, I will not be liking your posts, and I apologize because I really am happy for you if you're being sincere, but I think all of us should be a hell of a lot more considerate on social media. That's potentially a different topic for another time and maybe like a different video essay series of just random topics that I feel like running my mouth about. But I think anytime you post something that's slightly gratuitous, if you want to do it, do it. Just remember, you really could be making people feel kind of bad. And think about that. Think about if you're okay with that. Because social media is just a bragging landscape. Mother's and Father's Day falls into that. This holiday did not stress me out nearly as much until maybe the past 5, 6, 7 years. It felt like more and more people got braggadocious on social media comparatively to like the earlier days of social media. I don't know if that's true for everyone. Maybe that's just my friends and family, but yeah, I started to get real annoyed. And as I said in the do's and don'ts of social media video, which I'll link in the description, I feel like I can't even post about my parents half the time because I could say something very profound about value your parents. Like, I'm okay today, but like, hope you really do call your parents if you're going to say something nice about them on the internet. And then people are like, I'm so sorry, are you okay? And I'm like, I don't need that attention. Read the caption. I have a whole bit about it. That's basically what I just said. It's worth repeating because people really don't listen. So I can't even be a part of this holiday anymore. I tried back when it was just my dad and would post about my dad on Father's Day, and then people would be like worried for me, or they would think I'm sitting there crying, and they'd be like thinking of you. And it's always nice to be thought of. Like, I'm a comedian, I want to be thought of. I'm in Hollywood, like it comes with the territory. But I also don't need attention, as much as that sounds like I'm talking out of both sides. Like, or rather, I don't want attention for the wrong reasons or for reasons that are not applicable. So I'm gonna be okay on Mother's Day 2021. I'm going to be okay on Father's Day 2021. And if I'm not, it's going to be for other reasons. But I don't want to see y'all be happy in ways that it's just not going to be possible for me to be happy. And I'm someone who's speaking from a point of feeling, I don't want to say healed, because grief never really leaves you. And we will be going into that in a very, very near video. But in terms of like active grief, where it's like likely I'm going to cry, I'm not there. But especially after this past year, oh my goodness gracious, how can we not be aware that so many people have lost family this past year? I mean, in general, but especially this past year. So this is a rough go for a lot of people right now. So maybe don't brag. Don't brag about stuff you have that others don't. Because some people, like, I'm relatively healthy about this. Healthy enough to feel confident that I can speak on the internet about this stuff. Like, it doesn't traumatize me to talk about this stuff on the internet, but not everyone's in the space that I'm in. So like pretty much almost every video, what I have to say does not represent everyone's thoughts and feelings. I do represent probably a lot of people, but some people could really not be in a great space, and they could be really sensitive to the bragging. So maybe check in on some of your friends and family, especially if they recently lost someone, because they could be in a fetal position. This could be really hard. So please be mindful. Holidays are rough, even fake ones, Hallmark ones, now social media ones. It all sucks, guys. Losing people sucks. It's a lifelong process to learn how to live without them, no matter how well adjusted or not you end up about it. So be sensitive, consider how you come across and move in the world, including the social media world. Be kind to people, be considerate. It's okay to live for yourself, but I don't know, consider if that's at the expense of other people. I think we really need to rethink how we do social media. But again, that's another video for another time. I'm Lauren-Blair Donovan. This has been Good Grief. Apologies, as there was a little bit of an unexpected hiatus with this series. It was just kind of an unusually busy spring. Did not see that coming because I'm used to pandemic world. Even if I think I have a lot going on, I don't. As things kind of move back into hopefully a more normal place, I will be adjusting. I will be back to weekly postings. Plus, there's more puppet stuff coming because I'm vaccinated. My friends and actors are vaccinated. There's so much coming to Hardy Har Har in the next couple of optimistically weeks, possibly months, but it's all happening, and I look forward to sharing everything. So please hit subscribe, please like, please give a comment, please share this to, frankly, everyone, but especially to people who would be actually helped by this kind of content, because that's who I'm speaking to, both the grievers in the land as well as the people who are trying to help the grievers. And if you want, please follow me on social media, Blairosaurus Rex, because orphans can be dinosaurs too. That was a bad joke. I don't care. You guys have a lovely Mother's and Father's Day if you are celebrating, and if you're not because you cannot for whatever the reasons, my thoughts are with you. That sucks. I see you. Your experiences are valid, and let's just get through this together. It all sucks. But have a good day anyway. Bye.